All right, well, welcome to Exhaust Sports Auto. My name is Kevin, and you already saw the exterior montage for the C7 Corvette. And today I have a very special guest that I want to introduce to you, Clarence.
Yes.
C Garner Speed 252. This is his masterwork, his Mona Lisa, basically, that he has created over here. His 2017 Grand Sport Corvette. Clarence, what do you have coming to your channel very, very soon?
So as you all know, the C7 Corvette is coming to an end, which is a front engine Corvette. And I have decided to purchase a C8 mid-engine Corvette for my YouTube channel as well.
Okay, and while you're at it, can you just lend me like $100,000?
I wish. YouTube doesn't pay me that much.
Well, YouTube doesn't pay me anything. So with that, we're gonna kind of go through and, before we continue, you guys never really subscribe to me, and I don't really care, but please, for the life of God, please subscribe to this man, because he is far more important than me.
No.
You see what he's doing, and you see what I'm doing with that little Kia over there. I'm a nobody. He's getting the C8, he's got the C7. You're gonna keep the C7.
I do plan to keep the C7, yes.
At least for a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, it's gonna be...
Well, I'm planning to keep the C7 for a while. The goal is to keep the C7 alongside the C8.
Okay.
And then when they bring out different variants of the C8 mid-engine Corvette, maybe trade out my current one for the new one and keep this alongside it, because I really appreciate what this brings to the table.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's kind of what we're gonna go through with this. This video is kind of like the goodbye to the C7, but there's a lot to appreciate here. We're gonna go through all of that.
Absolutely.
I've driven this thing twice already, so I already know what it's capable of. So with that, let's kind of go ahead and give them a little walk around of what you kind of did to the vehicle before we go on that drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Clarence, what have you done here?
So I bought this Corvette in 2017, as Kevin said earlier, and I bought it as emerald blue, as you can see through the door jambs right here, which is the original color of the car still. And so a long story to a short story, I seen another guy driving the same exact color car. I love the blue, but I decided to do something different because I kept seeing the same color car. So I decided to go with this wrap. I wasn't a fan of wraps, but actually this is one thing I wanted to have done always as a dream car to whatever car I decided to buy, whatever sports car it was. So I wrapped it, and I also add this vertical door kit because I wanted to be something different. If you notice, if you ever come to my channel, you notice that my whole channel is just different in general. So you have the chrome wrap, which you can see the gloss shine right here. Don't remind you, it is a little dirty. And this red stripe I did as well to break up the chrome just a little bit. These mirrors on both sides and this vent both came blue. I had these painted gloss black as well to match the car. And I feel like, I needed to add the black wheels because this car came with chrome wheels, and these are aftermarket Ferrado wheels, which are brand name wheels, and they make the car look fabulous. I also added the stage 2 or stage 3 spoiler without the wicker bill, and I really greatly appreciate what it brings to the table. And I also added a Corsa exhaust, which is something that is great. Snap, crackle, and pop, and I can tell you right now, it's a lovely sound to hear when you're driving a C7 Corvette for sure.
Nice. And the other thing you did was the air intake, right?
I did add an air intake, yes. So I'm gonna pop the hood for that. I'm gonna remind you, there's a little dirt inside as I. Oh,
don't worry about it, bro. Compared to my cars, dude, this is like flawless.
Just took a road trip back from California because I was the only YouTuber in the United States that got invited out by Chevrolet for the C8 miniature Corvette unveiling. The only YouTuber, and I appreciate that. And so they wanted this part outside the venue, which is what I did. I brought it out there. As you can see over there, I do have the AFE air intake. Now, I'm one of those guys, when you come to my channel, I'm gonna tell you the honest truth. I didn't think this was really worth it, but once I added it to the car, it made a big difference in the throttle response and the sound of the exhaust in the back as well. So I definitely advise, if you want a aftermarket air intake in your car, definitely feel free to get one for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you because usually I agree with you too. Air intakes don't really do much of anything, but in this vehicle, what I really like about the AFE one, and we're not sponsored or whatever the hell, but I'm just saying this is very reminiscent of the original OEM intake.
Yes.
But the filter is twice the size.
Twice the size, yes. So, I was going to mention that. Yep.
Yeah. And it's still enclosed like the OEM would be, and it's kind of got the smoother piping done to it.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's just, that's actually like a legit mod. I would definitely do that for sure.
Absolutely.
If I had a C7. So absolutely. So
yeah.
Is that everything, bro?
Yep.
All right. I guess we can go ahead and take this bad boy out for a spin.
Absolutely.
All right. So going on a little ride with Clarence here in the C7 Grand Sport Corvette. The Corvette, basically, this is kind of like the pinnacle of, front engine cars, because obviously when they developed the C8 Corvette, they were saying that the C7 they kind of did everything that they could with the front engine design. Clarence is about to bust this little left turn here and about to get started. So I have not ridden with you after you got like the intake and the exhaust and all that stuff. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to work out. So Clarence, how long have you had this car?
So I had it since 2017. I bought it September 2017.
Okay.
And that's where I started my YouTube channel.
Okay, so about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So no buyer's remorse with this? You absolutely love this car?
No, none whatsoever.
You have never gotten bored of this vehicle at all? It's been like pretty much the best thing?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, nice. And what are some other vehicles have you owned, like kind of similar to this or whatever?
The only other sports car that I actually genuinely owned was a Camaro, but I don't know if I would consider it being a sports car because I actually ended up buying a V6 version and not a V8 version.
That's okay. No, I like the Camaros. They got a good chassis, so... Yeah, so that pull there, it is so much better than the standard Corvette. If you own a Corvette, I said this when I drove the 1LE 1SS Camaro, the 2019. That thing had the NPP exhaust,
right,
and that sounded ridiculous. The sensation of speed is just fantastic when you pump in some noise into a car. So when I actually, this is going to sound crazy. I don't know if you're going to agree with me, Clarence, but when I drove the Grand Sport Corvette, I actually thought it was kind of slow feeling.
Really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Was it a manual or automatic?
No, it was an automatic,
okay,
but I'm not saying the Corvette is slow. Because obviously it's not. I saw the speedometer climbing. That was, you move at extraordinary speed, but what I mean is that it isolates you from the speed. This is like a legit, like you've obviously taken this to a track.
Yeah, absolutely.
VIR?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and like what are kind of like the speeds that you kind of hit?
150.
150, and like how does it feel at those speeds? Like pretty damn stable, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The car drives smooth. Sometimes when you're driving those high speeds, if your car is not properly balanced by the tires, you can feel a little shaking in the front end. But I haven't felt any issues with this at all, and I enjoy driving those high speeds when I'm on the track.
Exactly, and you never feel intimidated driving this thing, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean,
yeah.
Even if you, I don't know if you ever did this when you had the Grand Sport, but if you tap it and put it in performance active mode, that actually make a big difference in how fast everything ships and how fast everything goes.
Oh, absolutely. It's instant. This is like a legit sports car, and a lot of people like bitch about this 8-speed. There's nothing wrong with the performance of this 8-speed transmission. Right. If you're going to take this to a track, like kind of like how you do, you're pretty much gonna have so much confidence. You're gonna be blitzing everybody on the track with this. And would you recommend this over a Z06? Because you've driven a Z06 before.
Yeah, I've driven a Z06. I pretty much driven everything except a Stingray. I have not driven a Z01. I was inside of a Z01. As far as track purposes goes, I literally think this is the best car to have. One of my buddies has a Z06, and he actually is considering trading out that Z06 for a Grand Sport. And a lot of people are like, well, why? You have 650 horsepower, 60 horsepower as well in a Grand Sport. But on a track, you can put all this down on the track and use it safely and comfortably. With the Z06, you can't put all that down on the track. And he used to call this the king of the track before the Z01 came along, but the Z01 with the wing put all the downforce, which makes it a better track vehicle because you can most likely use a little bit more of that horsepower on the track. The
Grand Sport, phenomenal for the track because of the way it's set up. And this thing, it's got a double wishbone setup, all four corners, like an F1 car basically. It is such a legit thing, and that's mainly the biggest difference between this and like a Camaro. I love the Camaro, and honestly on the street they almost drive similar, like very similar. You have to take it out to a track to see the difference between a Camaro and a Grand Sport, but you will never get the looks of this thing in a Camaro.
Nope, not at all. There's nothing you'll be able to do to get the looks out of a Corvette from a Camaro.
Exactly. Not even like a ZL1 Camaro can match the looks of like a Stingray Corvette.
And don't get me wrong, the Camaros are good-looking cars.
Absolutely, they're stunning cars, and that kind of shows you just how ridiculously good-looking this vehicle is, and will continue to look even with the C8 on the road. Talking about the engine, it's a push-rod engine, 460 horsepower,
Correct. 465
pounds-feet of torque, overkill for the streets.
Right.
This is a supercar by all intents and purposes. It is.
I love the car a lot. I mean, the horsepower that it gives. Like I said, I actually want to get a Z06 at one point, but I realized like there wasn't no need for all that horsepower.
Yeah.
So I decided to go with this instead.
Absolutely. No, yeah, but what I mean is like this thing has so much grunt down low, like it never has to work hard. Like you never have to like wring its nuts out like a Miata or something like that.
Right, I agree.
Like, it's like the opposite of like a Mustang too.
Right.
Yeah, you have to wring out a Mustang to get everything out of it. This is just like, 2,000 RPM, you're pretty much blitzing everything.
That is true. I mean, there's times when I'm driving 80 or 90 miles per hour and don't even notice I'm doing that, so.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. So you have to be doing an insane speed on the road to feel like you're doing anything in this car. But obviously, you being an owner of this thing 2 years, you absolutely still love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said earlier, I own a Camaro, and it was a V6. I actually ended up selling that before I sold this. And I just enjoyed this. The C7 Corvette is like the last front engine that they made, and I feel like I get a bit more beneficial out of driving this than I do in my Camaro. So hopefully at some point somebody else can enjoy that Camaro the same way I enjoyed it.
What kind of gas mileage you get into this?
Good question. I average like 21, 22.
Dude, that's better than my parents' RAV4, their Passat, and those are like 4 or 5 cylinder like economy cars.
Really?
Absolutely. We're getting like 90, because that's the other thing. This is like I was saying, it's a big lazy motor, this LT.
Right.
You don't have to wring it out. Those other cars, I have my foot down to the floor all the time.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? This, you don't have to work as hard. That's the other thing with a big motor. You always almost get better gas mileage with the V8, actually.
And also to explain this, I mean, this car also has the V8 and also can switch to the V4 if you're not driving it same crazy.
Sure, yeah, like on highways and things like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, reliability-wise, how has this thing treated you?
I haven't had any issues out of it other than the catalytic converter going bad, and it went bad early on. I can't really say that's a car issue. That could be a faulty part that just got installed in this car, is what I usually say.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. People always want to find the fault with it first. You know what I mean? And the fact that such a high-strung vehicle that has the performance that this thing does, which is like exotic level rivaling, one little catalytic converter went out. I think you can live with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I always say this to a lot of people, even on my channel. People go back and forth like Ford's a better brand, Dodge a better brand. There's no really better brand. It depends on what brand you relate to the most and which car offers you the more money for your bang for your buck type of thing. That's just my personal opinion. The Corvette, the Mustang, the Dodge Hellcat, the Challenger, whatever the case may be, have all had issues at some point in this.
I love all three of those cars. I will say the GM cars tend to be a little bit more reliable. I love the Shelby. I love the Hellcats. I relate to those cars a lot, but these tend to outlast them a little bit. Like people track them or whatever the case may be, and they have really not that many issues like you've been saying with the catalytic converter.
No, I done tracked this car numerous times. I done drag raced this car numerous times and haven't had any issues other than the catalytic converter going bad.
Exactly. So that's a pretty big testament to what this car is. And it's a brand new car. You get a warranty with it. That's the other thing with it.
Yeah, I mean, with me being my age, a lot of people say, you're a young Corvette owner, and so it's one of those things where I have almost 25,000 miles on it. That's a lot of miles for a Corvette. Most Corvette owners, 2017, probably have about 6,000 miles, 5,200 miles. And to me, why let it sit in the garage? If I'm going to make monthly payments on it, I might as well drive it as well.
Absolutely. No, yeah, that's the exact way to look at it. And, why wouldn't you drive it? Because look at the ride quality of this thing. It is absolutely sublime. So the Grand Sport gets the magnetic ride shocks as standard.
Absolutely.
And you did a lot of long trips in it, right?
Oh, absolutely. So I've driven this car plenty of times in Pennsylvania, all over the place, Atlanta. But now I actually trailer the car behind my Trailblazer because the Trailblazer is something that I enjoy with the YouTube channel as well. And, it feels good to actually tow a Corvette behind a Trailblazer when the Trailblazer towing capacity is only 1,500 pounds, knowing they can tow this thing to certain places. And I actually towed this Corvette to California to the C8 unveiling behind the Trailblazer all the way.
Yeah, dude, your Trailblazer is a little warrior too, and you obviously put some miles on this thing, pretty hard miles too, and it's holding up. The interior quality, actually, there's actually not really any creaks and rattles in here. The only thing rattling is like the thing in the back. But
Yeah, just
that's his stuff.
just
So,
my pose from going to the events and stuff. That's all it is.
yeah, exactly. So the actual like interior quality has held up extremely well on this. So I'm overall extremely impressed with Corvette, and this is pretty much like the best value in sports cars that a human can ask for.
I think this interior is great, honestly, man. It's definitely a big upgrade from the C6s and the C5s and the C4s.
Absolutely. And the C8, they obviously listen to the customers.
Oh, absolutely.
They fixed pretty much the only flaw that this car has.
Absolutely. Seeing the C8 in person, a lot of people ask me, like, I get thousands of emails and questions all the time, what was the best thing about the C8? What is something you can tell us about that they haven't told us about? Seeing it in person and having a 1 hour review around it. Just honestly, a phenomenal car at the end of the day. I mean, the interior is a big jump from this one, honestly. Like, I think it's an exotic look. And, I can see some similarities from the C7 and the C8 that a lot of people can't see. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you a perfect example. When you see the inside of the C8, and it has this long dash thing here with the buttons, it's pretty much just the same thing, except this is standing out more with the buttons on the side. So a lot of people hasn't really talked about that yet, and I can't wait to get behind the wheels of behind the wheel of that car so I can explain a few more of those things that I enjoy seeing.
Absolutely, yeah. No, the C8 is great and it's fantastic for YouTubers, but for most pedestrians out there on the street, I think the C7 is going to be overkill for you, especially if you get a Z06 or something like that. This is never going to be a bad buy for anybody. I think it's going to be something that, even I aspire to own like a Z06 with like a stick shift one day. It's a car that I really want to own, actually. They sold tons of units.
Yeah, they sold tons of units. I mean, even with the C8, man, I think that thing is going to just take off. Actually, already has taken off. I mean, they have so many allocations in right now. Yeah. People wanting to buy them, and it's just nuts at what this car is actually able to bring to the table. And a lot of people wasn't expecting them to make a mid-engine car that will cost under $60,000.
Yeah, that price point was a big shocker. And that's kind of what I like about Corvette. It's that supercar that anybody who has a job and an income can pretty much aspire to own. As long as you're not sitting on your thumb all day, you can actually work towards owning a vehicle like this.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of what I really respect about this vehicle.
On my channel, I talk about serious things, how to afford the car and things like that, and how I actually afford this car. At the end of the day, 460 horsepower is a lot of horsepower. I mean, that's a lot of horsepower.
Not only is it a lot of horsepower, but that sensation, now that you added that exhaust and that intake, is absolutely superb.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it brings a little bit something different to the table for the driver who actually installed those things in their cars.
Yeah, no, it totally like transforms your car. It's like you bought a new car, basically. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of
how it
makes
you feel that way.
Yeah.
If you know the difference between the factory exhaust and the Corsa exhaust. I mean, I had a friend that owned a Camaro, and he took off his cats, and we was racing one time, and he said, "Man, your car sounds a lot louder than mine." And that's just the Corsa exhaust.
That goes a long way. Mm-hmm. So, with that, I think, Clarence, do you want to add anything else before we end this drive off?
I think if you're in the market for a C7 Corvette and you're trying to decide between the C8 and the C7, and this is your first car, I think you should go with the C7. I think the C7 is a great car to buy. The C8 will definitely be an upgrade, according to Chevrolet, from the Grand Sport version. And I think you enjoy the Corvette brand in general. And, if you haven't subscribed to his channel yet, you should definitely do so. And, my channel will bring you Corvette information all day long. Like I said, I'm planning to keep this alongside the C8. And as Kevin said earlier, my name is Clarence, and my YouTube channel is Speed252. And he probably put all that stuff down in the description and probably across the screen as well. So
no, I'm just going to completely wipe you out of the screen. It's just going to be me talking. No, you don't even have to subscribe to me. You don't anyway, so that's not important. What is important is you subscribe to this man here. You see what he's done. You see what he's done to this. So obviously, if you want to see the C8 content that he's going to be producing, you're probably going to be the first human being on YouTube with the C8.
I'm hoping to be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the human being. One of the first YouTubers at least to get one of these things.
Yeah,
it's funny. Chevrolet reached out to me recently and emailed me and said personally would like to design one of their cars just like this, with my wrapping stuff on their kit car that they're actually building. They emailed me that personally on Facebook, and on top of that, they actually said they cannot wait for me to actually get a C8 Corvette because they want to see what the things I do to it on the outside. So
this is why I told you, forget me, subscribe to the. You can even unsubscribe from me and go to this
no,
guy.
Don't do that.
Yeah, okay, because that's a huge honor, dude. That's amazing that Chevy has reached out to you and giving you those opportunities, said the things I said. Your car looks fantastic. I love the stuff that you did to it, and I hope you guys did too. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look at this interior, the trunk, and end this review off.
Yes.
Okay, so inside the interior of the C7 Corvette. We're not going to dwell too much time on it. I mean, I think everybody and their mother knows everything about this car by now and the interior. You know, everybody, they goes goo goo gaga over this thing. You know, that's everybody's favorite thing.
Get you some C on the Speed 252 merch, baby.
There you go. There you go. That's how you do it, man.
Yeah.
So that's good. Definitely go buy that, everyone.
You got to go to www.cgonthespeed252.com.
And, you know, joking aside, I am going to leave a link down to all that stuff in the description box below. You know, a lot of people would say this is the worst part about this vehicle. I don't know if you agree or not.
What part is that?
The interior.
Oh.
The quality of it, the material choices. What do you have to say about that?
I disagree. Okay. I think if they set in a C6 or a C5 or a C4, I think those interior are crap, but that's just my opinion. Just like their opinion about this interior is crap as well. I appreciate what they did with the previous generation Corvettes for sure, and will I drive them? Heck yeah, but I think this interior is definitely a huge upgrade. I mean, even my friend Mike, who always wanted a ZR1, not the 2019s, but the previous generation ZR1s, sat inside one, and then he was like, man, this is a downgrade from my C7, so yeah, I think this interior, they did a great job with it.
I agree. Like from the previous generation Corvettes, like this is like a Rolls Royce compared to those. I mean, that was just, you're gonna get a rash from all the plastic in that vehicle. Like that was disgusting. I'm not gonna lie though, like the layout of this is brilliant. Like I love how everything's laid out, but I have to say the material choices in here are cheaper. You know, it is plastic.
Absolutely.
Of course. But you know, you do have the 2LT, which is good because a lot of this stuff is a lot more leather wrapped. I was in a 1LT. Disgusting. Not even gonna lie to you. The steering, like I can forgive a lot of things here because it's a sports car, it's a driver's car.
Right.
You're not even gonna be looking at this, you're gonna be looking out there.
Right.
And but the thing I could not forgive in that 1LT was that the steering wheel, which you have a cover over yours, but that's fine. The steering wheel in that was plastic.
Right.
A Kia will give you a leather, a pseudo leather, whatever leather, you know, it's gonna be a fake leather, whatever, but it's gonna be a soft touch material on the steering wheel. And when I saw that in the 1LT, like Corvette, I was like, this is disgusting. But yours, you know, obviously you have like one of the best interior colors that you chose here, this brown. That's really nice. And your leather, and your steering wheel is leather wrapped.
Right.
But I always love the size of the steering wheel. It is so perfect. I love that. I love the feel of that. But yeah, no, this is definitely a huge step up from the older vehicles. And this, I can forgive this in the 2LT because a lot of this is leather wrapped, soft touch materials, and the layout of it is excellent, really. It's so intuitive. So what do you think about living with this every single day?
I enjoy it. I think what a lot of people got to understand is that a lot of people complain about, oh, you know, plastic knobs and plastic this and plastic that. You got to understand, like, even when you buy a top-of-the-line car, those things still come with plastic knobs and stuff like just to keep the weight down.
Sure.
And with this car, you get a lot of bang for your buck. That's just my personal opinion. So you can ask Chevrolet a million times to put in more expensive parts, more expensive carbon fiber this, carbon fiber and that. And then when you complain about, oh, now the price is now more affordable for an average Joe, then you're going to complain about that as well.
Exactly. So yeah, no, I agree with that. But I think what's amazing, I think we saw with the C8 is they actually did address the interior and they kept the price the same.
That is true.
Yeah, that was insane. So
that is true.
They did do that, and they moved the engine to the back. But no, this, I think, especially if you go for the 2LT, I think a lot of the complaints about the interior can actually be thrown out the window, especially if you get into like these nicer colors like this brown you have here or the red. The red is bright as hell in these cars, but this brown is so classy. It's so appropriate for this car, even when it was blue.
Right.
It matches this car so well. So I think this can easily be forgiven. I've never really held this to like be the I mean, you know, obviously it is a plastic interior, you know, compared to like a Porsche or something, this would be considered like lesser quality, but that's a Porsche, 100 grand starting. It's not fair.
Absolutely.
So, like you said, bang for the buck. So I can totally ignore all of this. Another thing I love, this climate control, brilliant.
Right.
Separated from the screen and shows you your temperature, fan speed, all that stuff handled here. So love that. Have you had any issues operating any of this while you're on the move?
No, I heard about one complaint. One person that owns a C7, not one person, multiple people, said they usually get the nozzle here, like pretty much messed up with this because they think they want to turn this up for the radio, but that's really about it. But I actually, since owning this car, have not got those two things confused. I always known this is how you adjust the volume in the car.
Yeah, and the best thing is they have like physical controls for all of this stuff. I will say though, you know, I love this as well. I will say this old generation Chevy like Connect system, this is like straight up Alibaba, like from China. Like I am not a fan of these screens. I think to me personally, that's probably the biggest complaint I have with this interior. Not even the plastic or whatever. I don't really care about that. But at least the system at like 2017 has like Apple CarPlay and all that stuff, right? So like that kind of helps alleviate that stuff. You can just plug in your phone and use it that way.
Right.
So really, I'm not going to dwell on this for too long. I think everybody kind of knows this is a totally fine interior space for a sports car, and the C8 kind of adjusts more. And you want to tell me how this Bose sound system sounds?
It sounds great. As we've talked before, they're putting 14 speakers inside of the C8 Corvette, and I think the sound system in this car sounds phenomenal. Like, there's nothing bad I have to say about this car's sound system whatsoever.
Fantastic. Okay, so and they're going to continue using that in the C8, and they're just going to improve upon that. So that's awesome. Okay, so other things to note: the practicality of this interior. So there is actually a glove box in here, so that's very useful. And do you have the owner's manual for this car? Like, is it like?
I do. Is at home.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so, and then you do have this little thing right here, which, okay, is that the only way it opens?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So a few little storage in there. Sorry about that. And obviously, you got the storage behind the screen. This is actually an extremely practical car. The trunk, this thing, because you have the hard top, you have the hatchback with this. And what does Chevrolet always say? Like, they always want to fit two golf bags. You don't golf, right?
Nope.
No, but like they always make sure that you can fit that inside of a Corvette. So this is actually a far more practical car than what people might think.
Right.
So and there's actually there's far more space inside here than there is in like a Miata or something like that.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. So I mean that's fantastic.
I couldn't even fit in a Miata.
No, yeah, I remember you couldn't. And you're how tall?
6'2".
And you fit in here?
Just fine.
Exactly. So that's fantastic, and you have plenty of headroom.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can be like 7'2" and probably take the top off and still fit in it.
I might be stretching. I got a couple of friends that are 6'6", and their knees are like right here.
Okay.
So as far as roof-wise, if you take the top off,
sure. Yeah. Okay. So knees might be an issue a little bit taller. Okay, but for you, perfect.
Yeah. Yep. I just got my knees to sit here comfortable. That's all.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Nice. So that pretty much covers it as far as the interior goes. I think everybody at this point knows about this car. I mean, like, if all that comes with it, that's not an issue. Obviously, your car has the doors that go up, of course. But the good thing about your doors is that they can still kind of open, normal as well. So that's very convenient. So, yeah, talked about the interior, showed them the trunk space. So I think we're good to go there. How about we end this review off?
Okay, sounds great.
Well, we took it out for a drive. We looked at the exterior, the interior, some of the practicality aspects of it. I think Chevy pretty much killed it with the C7.
Absolutely.
I think everybody knows it, and that's why everybody has one.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why this wasn't a super in-depth video. This is kind of just like a farewell, I guess, to the front engine, the pinnacle of front engine design vehicles, I guess.
Right.
So, Clarence, do you have anything else to share or want to add to this?
So I want to thank you for having me on the channel today, by the way. I greatly appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, definitely do so. Also, if you come to my channel and subscribe as well, I'm doing a small giveaway. You subscribe to the channel, we'll enter you in a drawing to win this new C8 mid-engine Corvette poster that you can hang in your house or your garage, wherever you may like. All you have to do is come on my channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button as well, and that will enter you in a drawing to win this poster.
Absolutely. Nice. So that's a very generous man, with the giveaways. So yeah, that's a pretty sweet poster. I think I have to enter it myself. So yeah, there's that. So with that, I think the C7 Corvette, if you're not a YouTuber, if you're not looking for clicks and views, I think the C7 Corvette is going to suit pretty much everyone's needs above and beyond.
Absolutely.
Much. You're going to be getting at least 475 tickets in this car if you go out and purchase one. So there is that, something to watch out for. So you better be lawyered up like crazy. So with that, I mean, dude, what have you done here, man? Just Transformers, you just killed it.
I wouldn't go that far. I definitely want to make it look different. This car speaks volume. It speaks my personality. I'm not a bougie guy. I'm not fancy with clothing and things like that. But when it comes to my cars, I like to drive a nice, good-looking car. Chevrolet sees this car and speaks volumes. I mean, I'm going to the Corvette and Call Out at the end of this month, which is August 22nd through the 25th. I'm going to be there as well. I also just recently got out to the National Corvette Museum. I'm going to be there the 28th through the 31st. And the car will be parked out in front of the National Corvette Museum. So that's a great honor and a great opportunity as well by them. And I'm looking forward to seeing the C8 mid-engine Corvette again. And come to my channel. I'm hoping to get the car and make us a lot of reviews and show you all the good things about it. But until then, I think you should consider getting a C7 Corvette for sure.
Absolutely, without a doubt. If you drive one, you're pretty much you're gonna buy it. It rides good, it goes good, it handles like nothing else, and it's just a fantastic driving experience. And for the price point, you can't really beat it. So
Absolutely.
with that, thank you so much for coming out and letting me do this review on your wonderful C7 Corvette. Check him out and definitely subscribe for his C8. We might do a little collab in the future with the C8. So that's going to be nice. I'm going to look forward to. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Take care and goodbye.